Hello and welcome to TEChBrits, your community-driven technology show, and a very community-driven few weeks we have lined up for you.
In the next few weeks, we are going to be having some of the best of the UK tech scene joining us on the show, and we're just going to be we're basically showcasing what they do online.
Exactly, there's some fantastic talent out there, and we hope that this series really helps show you guys what's out there. So this week we have a special guest, so why don't you go ahead and tell us exactly who you are and what it is you do.
I'm the editor-in-chief and founder of NewRisingMedia.com, a website where we write all kinds of articles and record all kinds of video about technology, science, internet culture, and also music, movies and games.
Cool, so what got you started?
Questions off my mates in terms of how to use their new Samsung flip phones, or questions from my family in terms of how to restore their computer or how to use Google in my grand's sake. And I wanted to do more than that because I really loved either answering people's questions, helping out, or just talking about it in general, just rambling on and on and on, as I'm doing right now. So I started on Games Radar forums, techforum.net, YouTube from the beginning, and just got feedback on what I did and kept developing myself and progressing up until the third year of university when I started New Rising Media.
Awesome, so we just want to know exactly who were your inspirations?
I'd say Steve Kitchen from Activision. He was one of the software design engineers from the very early days. He helped make Space Shuttle in 1984. I watched an episode of Computer Chronicles not too long back, which had a little bit with him talking about this game, and the only way I could talk about the way he was chatting about this game is you always have that one person at any party, social event, gathering, whatever, who can talk so obsessively and interestingly about a topic regardless of how boring it is, that he can make you fascinated in it as well. And something like that just captivates me.
So you compare your videos now to how they were when you started. Have they changed much?
My content has changed massively since the beginning. From the writing perspective, I tried to limit everything to 100 words, so just like a really small paragraph. This was because at the point I'd read a magazine and got extremely bored of trying to read the entire review and just went to the ending paragraph. I know that's a bit of an insult to all the writers of Edge magazine, if so I apologise. But it kind of got me thinking that if writing styles are changing, maybe I should introduce something new, which was to have this one paragraph of just like massive literary words.
So we know for a lot of people that video creation can really alter your life a lot, so has it changed you in any way?
Video creation has changed my life quite significantly, primarily around my speech. As you can tell, I've got a pretty lovely set of train tracks on. I've had them on for about 4 years. All part of an orthodontic treatment, just had an operation as well in March, so all of this top bit is also titanium plated. It means it all has quite a significant effect on your voice. Grant, this is, to be honest, the best that it's ever been.
So as you can probably tell, I have quite a few old tech memories. I was just wondering, what's your oldest tech memory?
My oldest and most fondest tech memory for me would be from when I was about 6 years old. Me and my dad subscribed to this new robotics magazine at the time. Can't remember the name of it, but I'll ask the people in the comments about it. It was a magazine where you got pieces of a blue robot every week, and the TV commercial was done by Craig Charles, and it wasn't a Robot Wars magazine. So beyond that, it's anybody's guess what it was called.
So, Mac or PC?
Sorry to all the Microsoft fanboys, but I'm a Mac person, and that was meant to be that way.
So now on the next one, and probably the most interesting one, iPhone, Android, Windows Phone or BlackBerry?
Well, I'm currently running an iPhone now. I've had a Galaxy S2 in the past, and I've also had a HD7 as well. So I've had experience with all the three top operating systems at this point in time. Never had a BlackBerry, and it's never really interested me. And from how the company has been doing as of recently, it's not really been interesting many other people either. I like all the three operating systems for different reasons, so unfortunately I can't give a straight answer as to which one is my favourite. So I love iOS for its massive app catalogue and its ease of use. I love Google's Android for the extreme customization of it, so I can have the experience exactly how I want it from the moment I put the screen on to when I put it back to sleep. And I've also been a fan of Windows Phone purely based on aesthetic design and look of it, because I think it's one of the most beautiful looking OSs out there. And for some odd reason, I've also been quite tempted by Palm Pre and the WebOS side of things. I know it didn't really go well after it all failed miserably, and the open source project hasn't really taken off yet, but I'd love to see it come around. But it's always been a really nice looking phone and a really nice looking OS for me, and I've always wanted to try it out, either by buying one second hand off eBay or seeing if anything comes of this open sourcing.
So, do you remember your first phone? If not, what's the oldest phone you can remember?
A Philips Savvy. Quite a bit of a brick of a phone. Promotional angle of that was, it was one of the first devices with like a speak to dial sort of thing. Didn't work whatsoever. You could say any kind of swear word into it, which is what I did when I had it at school, and just call anybody.
And of course, if you have a tablet, what was your first tablet?
Really wanted my first tablet to be a HP TouchPad, but I kept missing it in all the £90 fire sales that happened last year. So I settled and I went for an iPad instead.
So what was your first, computer system?
My first computer was from a computer shop just in Sutton. I think it's closed now, called Westnot's Computer. Running Windows 95, it had a gigabyte of storage, I think. Intel Pentium, just an Intel Pentium processor. And that's all I can remember. And also a 12-inch screen. It was a little beautiful machine that I'd play Tonka Toys on.
Now, of the two social networks, would you prefer Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter or Facebook, preferably neither because of all the life that it consumes. But out of the both, I'd say Twitter.
If one of these shut down, which couldn't you live without? YouTube or Twitter?
I'd pick YouTube because there's a lot more to do in terms of content consumption than in terms of just sharing.
So in your entire house, what's your favourite gadget?
This 27-inch Mac that I'm filming on right now, quite a beautiful little thing. And my Kindle. Didn't really expect to get back into reading as much as I did when I picked it up, but it's a really great experience to get away from it all and just read a book.
Thanks for joining us. It was great to have you. So why don't you just quickly round up to our viewers where we can find you?
Well, you can find everything we do at NewRisingMedia.com. Subscribe to our videos on YouTube at youtube.com/Mr. Squishy Gorilla. Don't ask why it's called that. It's a very, very long story. Follow us on Twitter at NewRising_media. And like us on Facebook at facebook.com/NewRisingMedia. Thanks guys, best of luck with TEChBrits.
And of course, thank you guys at home for joining us as always. Of course, you can check out that little subscribe button above because we're going to be having another great interview next week. And until next time, ciao.